In this exercise, we're going to design and apply our own custom chrome material. I've saved my progress as 3symmetricalshapes.psd. It's found inside the 05 materials folder. And I'm going to double click on the thumbnail here inside the layers panel for the scene layer to bring up the 3D panel. And I'm going to click on the material for sphere 1 because I can best see that sphere on screen here. And then I'll drop down to this little sphere icon in the bottom portion of the panel, click the down pointing arrowhead, scroll my way down the list until I find this guy, Metal Chrome. Now, as soon as I click on it, it seems to apply a kind of checkerboard pattern to the sphere. That happens to be the environment map, and we'll come back to that in the next exercise. But for now, just go ahead and suspend disbelief, and trust me that things are going to look nice here. All right, to get a sense of what that chrome looks like, because it looks nothing like that whatsoever, let's go ahead and click on Scene, and then change the quality to Ray Trace Draft. And we're just going to wait out the render until we see what that chrome effect looks like when it's applied to the sphere. And that's good enough. I'm going to press the escape key to interrupt the render. And you can see that this chrome item right there is doing a terrific job of reflecting the other two spheres. Perhaps a little too good of a job. Now, if you take a spoon, for example, and you look at the back of the spoon, and even if it's a highly reflective surface, it's not this reflective. It has some sense of metal going on. So we're going to make some modifications. I'm going to switch quality back to interactive painting, and I'm going to click on that material for sphere 1. And a few modifications we want to make. The opacity value of 100% is fine. That diffuse color of gray is just great because it's a gray metal. We don't want any bump map, so we're not going to create one. We do want to take that reflection value down. That's part of the problem. This is not a mirrored surface. We should take the reflection down to about 50% in my estimation. And then I'm going to increase the gloss value to 100% so we have nicely spread highlights. And I'm going to reduce the intensity of those highlights by changing the shine value to 50%. The rest of the options don't matter. They're fine as is. Now let's run another ray trace by going up to Scene and then changing the quality to Ray Trace Draft and letting it rip. And you can see how this is a much better chrome effect. At least it is in my opinion. We have some sense of metal going on inside of that scene. Also notice that wicked highlight that's coming out of the clouds. And what we're seeing there is that point light at the very top of the scene. That's good enough. I'm going to press the escape key once again in order to stop the render. But you can see that all of the objects are now casting shadows, even if the shadows go up and beyond that grassy knoll. All right, now what we need to do is take that chrome material and apply it across all three spheres. And the wonderful thing inside Photoshop is you can define and save your own materials. So we've already defined it. Click on Sphere Material underneath Sphere 1. And click on the down pointing arrowhead next to the sphere. And then click on the right pointing arrowhead. And let's go ahead and choose New Material. And I'm going to call this material Better Chrome, and then click OK. All right, now what I want you to do is click on the material under Sphere 2, down here in the bottom portion of the panel, scroll to the very bottom of the list, and you'll find our new material, Better Chrome. Click on it to apply it to that shape. And that's going to re-invoke the ray tracing. Click in order to interrupt that process because we need to change the material for Sphere 3 as well, so click on it. And then click the down pointing arrowhead, and then go ahead and click on Better Chrome, and now you can let the ray tracing rip. And you can see that it's going a lot faster this time, by the way, by virtue of the fact that we reduced the size of the image. All right, so I think a couple of passes of ray tracing is plenty. I'm going to go ahead and press the escape key in order to stop the process. These chrome spheres look great at this point, except there's one problem. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. What's with the checkerboard? Checkerboard is showing up all over the place here. All right, so what we're seeing is this little guy right there that I'm tracing. That is the reflection of Sphere 2 inside of Sphere 1. But then this checkerboard pattern is a reflection of Sphere 1 being reflected in Sphere 2 and then back into Sphere 1. So if you've ever seen a couple of mirrors, one in back of you and one in front of you, and the way they repeat back and forth forever and ever, that's what's happening here, only Photoshop stops the reflection process for the sake of expediency, if nothing else, after a couple of reflections. We're seeing that checkerboard pattern that's at work inside of the chrome material reflected back on the second pass. And what that is the environment map. So we need to swap out the environment map. We need to get rid of the checkerboard, replace it with a larger scene, and I'm going to show you how to do exactly that in the next exercise.